Okay, we're good. We're live. Yeah. All right, perfect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Reinventing the Tattoo Thursday morning fundamentals class. I'm your host, Kire Franklin, and we are going to have some super fun today. So, if you have not been here before, typically what we do is I talk for a good half hour, 45 minutes on the subject that we're going to be learning today. Got some slides, got some demonstrations, all that fun stuff. Then you get the opportunity to come on and hang out and zoom in, ask your own questions. You can talk about what you've been working on art-wise. If you want to show off some work, feel free. I'd love to talk about it. If you are new to this, to join on the Zoom, all you got to do is go to reinventingthetattoo.com and go to watch, and a big calendar will pop up, and you just go to today's date, go do the Thursday morning fundamental class, which is what we're doing right now, and the Zoom link will be right there for you. I tend to allow people in after that 45 minutes, a half hour, just to really get people's brains rolling, get them listening, maybe take down some notes if you learned something cool, and and then after that, you guys can join on in. So why don't we just get on into it then? So let's see here. We have our good friend Kyle in the background with us, so he's going to be helping me out if I need it or if I start cutting out internet-wise. So I'm just screen sharing here. All right. So once again, this is the Thursday morning fundamentals class. Today, we are going to be learning a couple things today. And what I think I'm going to start doing, only saying out loud so I can get some feedback on it. I think I'm going to start doing styled weeks or months, meaning that we pick a style, be it American traditional, Japanese, anything like that, and learn historically about it, and as well learn the basics of like flash style pieces. Be it traditional roses, which is what we're doing today. Traditional roses is one of the first things that I learned in my tattoo apprenticeship, and should be one of the first things that you learn in your tattoo apprenticeship. And for those of you out there that have been doing traditional roses for, years upon decades, you can still, I'm sure, learn something in here, because we're also going to be talking about the first female tattooer, Maude Wagner. And I actually got really attached to her as a person when I started learning about her. So I'm really excited to tell you guys about her. But first, we'll talk about American traditional as a whole for just like one slide, one or two slides. I know 95% of you know what American traditional is. And if not, then you definitely need to know. American traditional was based by the sailors. What happened a lot on the coastlines to tattoo sailors, like I said. They would tattoo images that actually meant meaning behind it. So be it swallows, you'd get some swallows, and that would indicate that you had traveled 1,500 kilometers, I believe, around. And so you get one swallow per 1,500 kilometers. And if you got 4 swallows in total, you would go to the circumference of the earth. Bold outlines and rule of thirds. We'll get into that in the next slide, but that's something to think about as far as characteristics go. And it was very well inspired by traditional Japanese tattooing, with the simplification, the bold lines, and the heavy gradients of black. So like I said, we got those bold lines. The third ratio, meaning the black, color, skin breaks, and I included the elements. So meaning they have a third of that composition is black, that third of that composition is color, and that third of that composition is the skin break, which is the lightest lights that you see on the ends of that tiger by Jimmy Snaz, which I did not know actually until I started researching it for this class, which was interesting. So they really go based off of that rule of thirds, and there's not always a distinct light source. That's very uncommon. That's more of a neo-traditional thing. You really just have those simple black gradients coming from one end of the composition out, and it would just be a almost step-by-step gradient of black color light, and they would just go from there. I would assume they would do that just to make it quicker, so they could get more in the door, because it's a simply done composition, but it still needs to be symmetrical, clean, bold, all those things that fundamentally happen with tattooing. So now we get into our first female tattooer. This is Maude Wagner, or Maude Stevens as her maiden name. She was born February 1877 and died January 1961. She was a aerialist and contortionist, meaning she did those contortionist, meaning like she was able to put her legs behind her head and like sit in weird positions and look crazy. And aerialist, she would fly through the air and do all sorts of tricks and fun stuff. She joined the circus with her family, and later in life she became a traveling tattoo artist when she met her husband, Gus Wagner. In 1904 at the St. Louis World's Fair, she met Gus Wagner, and they got to chatting, and pretty much she was interested in him. He had asked her on a date, and she said, absolutely not, unless you teach me how to tattoo. She was absolutely astounded by the amount of tattoos he had at such a young age. And what was called hokey pokey tattooing, he was very well known for that style. And even though the first tattoo machine was created in 1897, he still wanted to continue with the hokey pokey style tattooing, or the hand poke style tattooing. And so obviously he accepted, and she did. She learned exactly how to do the hokey pokey tattooing right from Gus Wagner by just getting tattoos. And so everything that she has, I think besides a couple of her pieces, are by him. And that's how she learned how to tattoo. And something very short on Gus Wagner, just a couple cool facts about him. By 1901, he had 267 tattoos. That is super cool. Even just to think that by 1901, you could have that many tattoos is absolutely amazing to me. That is just super rad. And of course, one of the last hokey pokey style tattoo artists. Once again, he'd use this kit. Actually, this is his kit that he would use to tattoo people, and he would use all these little mechanisms here to basically make several dots. That was his style. He would make all of his compositions via just dots, and obviously you can see here there's many ways he did it, which I just think is super, super cool. It's super interesting. I think you can find these. There's a museum in Baltimore, I believe, that you can go to that has a lot of this stuff here. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So the Wagner family quit their circus life and became full-time traveling tattooists. So eventually, well, the cool thing that they could do was also put their bodies on display to those who would want to view. So obviously, being in the early 1900s, it was very uncommon for you to be covered in tattoos like that. And if we go to the very, I am going forward, not backwards. If we go backwards a little bit and we see Maude, we see how covered she is. She gets pretty covered pretty quickly. So, imagine being in the early 1900s and you walk by Gus and Wagner. Of course, you're going to stop and want to, look at their pieces, look at their work, and see all that they have. And Gus very much believed that every tattoo was a memory of sorts. So as they were as covered as you can get from head to toe. And that's how they made their money. They just put themselves on display like that. And also they tattooed anybody that wants to get tattooed. And later, Maude gave birth to their daughter, Lavetta. And Lavetta actually became a tattoo artist later on. She is a second-generation tattooer. Born in 1910 and died in 1993, Lavetta preached to only be tattooed by her father, Gus. But unfortunately, Maude actually did not allow her to get tattooed by anybody or by her father. As they were raising her, they actually started getting her to tattoo at 9 years old. And that's just, she wanted a tattoo right away. And Maude refused. She kept backing down, saying, absolutely not. You're not getting tattooed by any of us. And then she became one of the first tattooists to never be tattooed. She didn't get a single tattoo in her entire life because she only wanted her father to do it. And then eventually, when her father passed away, she just never got a tattoo. So the Wagners, after traveling for so long and giving birth to Lovetta, they obviously wanted to settle down. So they started performing in vaudeville houses and local circuses in Louisville, Kentucky. And they were credited for bringing tattooing inland because at that time, like I said in the very beginning, tattooing was mainly based, especially in the Western culture, only based in the seaports where sailors would arrive. That's a lot of where your clientele would be it Sailor Jerry, who had his port in Honolulu. He always obviously got all the sailors, and that's where you're going to make your most of your money. And it was very not sought that people would get tattoos if you weren't a sailor, or if it didn't have that sort of stamped meaning, like the swallows. So we have to really credit the Wagners for bringing the tattooing inland to a place where it's not so common. Okay. Now we're getting on to roses. After being inspired by the Wagner family here. Roses, we're going to talk a little bit about the anatomy of some roses and the step-by-step process that I do my traditional roses and how it's kind of common to do traditional roses. So rose anatomy here. For drawing roses, because there's so many different styles of roses, the information I give is going to be really based on traditional styling. So there's many different ways because you can do as minimum as 4 petals and as minimum as 8 petals for roses. And you can see them, I see more petals, like outer petals, like I have numbered in like black and gray pieces. I see like the maximum amount because they want that fluffiness. They want to have the detailing in there. And obviously the more simplistic roses you see are for traditional and even traditional. I see 4 petal outer petals sometimes, especially when you have those very geometric roses. But traditional is always 5 outer petals. That's just the magic number. So we start with our inner bud, and this is how my mentor actually talked to me about it. He actually made me a very similar diagram in one of my sketchbooks that I actually gave away to a very good friend. So in that sketchbook, there is a demonstration of the Slinky effect with inner rosebuds. So the way that you think about those inner buds is that they are a Slinky. It's a ribbon. So they're kind of going into each other. They're twirling. So you have to think about that when you go to approach that inner bud. And because roses are so geometric, but at the same time, you can do so much with them. So I have my demonstration here. I hope you guys can see it well. Of the different ways that you can do those inner buds. And I like to call them bumps, swirls, and lumps. So bumps meaning, after this is a little done here, you have, I hope I can just draw right on here. Oh my God, I can. So bumps would be if I had, my little V. Bumps would be bumps. Typically you'd have 3 little bumps here, like I have on the bottom left here and here. Sorry, that's a lump, not a bump. So here, and you can even see them right here and right here. So bumps, okay? Swirls are right here. That would be really honing into that ribbon effect. And you see that a lot more with neo-traditional as well. So obviously you come in and just continue the swirl. And my mentor actually taught me how to draw roses just like this. You just keep going and going and going and going. And then from here you can do whatever with it. Or lumps. And lumps are the little bumps with a dent in them. So you come in, have your V again, bump and lump. Okay. So those are in traditional setting, right? Once again, we are speaking solely on American traditional. This is the most common inner buds that we can talk about here. Okay. Pause for a second. I just need to take a sip of my coffee. Okay. All right, and then we talk about coloring. So we see here on our right hand side that I establish, this is Procreate. I establish my color. I establish my dark. I actually do a drop shadow around the bud, add my white, and then, green leaves. Even though I'm pointing this out now because I know the senior artists out there are going, those are not traditional leaves. These are very neo-traditional leaves, and we'll get into that in a second. Just don't rip my head off about it. So just to go step by step again, on Procreate here, starting at the top right, okay, I establish my red. Okay, I even just fill them in just to make it quick. Fill them all in. And then I take my black, obviously, and I start, and I don't even blend anything. I literally take it like if it was a Copic marker, and I outline all the places that are going to have drop shadow. Remembering my rule of thirds. Then I bring it down right to the bottom right. I make that halo effect of just black gradient. Make that halo effect. And I even get it darker on the inner parts of our lumps and bumps there. And then I establish that green. Now that green, once again, that's as olive as I could try and get it, is pretty traditional. In a tattooing sense, how you could do that is you take your lantern yellow, which is a eternal color, and it has like a green hue in it. I believe so. And you take one drop of black, and it creates this beautiful, beautiful olive. It's like the greatest olive you could ever olive on the planet. But black is blue, so anytime you mix yellow and black together, you will get some sort of olive-y tone. And that's pretty traditional. Now, on the left-hand side here, once again, that teal color is not traditional. Usually they typically use just red, blue, and yellow. In a very old sense, they didn't have any cool colors like teal. But, I'm me, and I have to do it. And once again, those red tips are a very neo-traditional way of doing things, typically. And we'll get that into the next couple of slides of what they do for leaves. I just wanted to do a very neo-trad leaf. So we go through these steps once again with the red establishing our black. And in tattooing, you would do it as black first, then red, then that white is not white, it's skin breaks. That's where the skin would obviously just leave color. And that's what skin break means, meaning that the color of the skin is a tone in the tattoo. So that's how our rule of thirds would be applied. And of course, there's not enough black, so you got to add some more. So leaves. These are a couple examples of what traditional leaves look like. They're very sharp, very diamond shaped. And they have straight edges as far as on the inner parts. And the shading examples are on the right-hand side, and that's what I like to call the in and out type of shading. So you shade on the inside to show that those leaves are folding inwards, and even in neo-traditional ways, you shade out as well. Where on the left-hand side here, we have the inner shading, but also a terminator line and reflected light possessed in that leaf. Just to give it some fluff, But if we were to go back to these traditional leaves here, you can see that the very simplistic view of it, and that's what's important here. Traditional is as simple as you can get. It's quick, it's rule of thirds, but also it's very beautiful, symmetrical. bold, divine. So accented marks, you may have not seen those, but that's part of our thirds. That is our third element. Accented marks can be shown as little blades of grass, most likely. They're shown as straights, cones, or there's little swirls with circles. So and if you go back, I have both the grass blades and just the straight lines. I did not demonstrate the swirls with sticks there. But you can see that that applies to our rule of thirds, and that is our third element, and it fills in the space nicely. If those weren't there, they would look very unfinished. It definitely needed something else, and those accented marks are a good way to go. All right, and then these are them start to finish. So we will get into this too when when we go into the Procreate and I let you guys hop on, but I do apply a circle type radius to know my distance between my bud and my petals. Lots of back and forth, lots of play with the shapes of the outer petals. And you can follow the same lump, dump, and point with the outer petals. And we can get into that demonstration when I actually demonstrate some when we get into the Procreate. This one, in my opinion, was my favorite one out of all of them. And they're very fun to do. They're very quick. This whole class sheet was done in less than an hour. So they're super, super, super fun to do. And it gets your mind jogging on different ways to make those flowers. All right. Yep. And then that's that. And this is to show here the different styles of roses that exist. And there's thousands of others besides this one. The first one being a very neo-traditional styled rose with the inner contour lines. I love using those inner contour lines. My mentor taught me to use that. I take that directly from him. So those inner contour lines tell me that there is a shape being made, and it just, I don't know, it just looks nice. So I love using those, and that's a very neo-traditional thing to do. The second one, obviously, is the flash you've been staring at this whole time. And the third one is bordering new school because of those swirls, but it's a very neo-traditional flower with all those colors. And doing roses is super, super, super important, guys. If you're, because this is a fundamental class, if you just started picking up a pencil today and you are doing roses and you want to be a tattooer, even if you're not wanting to be a tattooer, traditional roses are the way to start. It gets your brain understanding the shapes of roses. It gets your brain understanding how roses work. It gets your brain to really see what they do, because roses are very difficult, in my opinion. They were one of the most difficult things for myself to draw in my apprenticeship, and even now sometimes, because there is so many combinations that they can have, and they're uniquely beautiful, and they have to still follow that golden ratio of like defined proportions. Because if you have like one skewed petal, it's going to look weird. So starting out with a very basic traditional rose and doing tons of flash sheets of them, you really start to understand the way that flowers work. And then from there, you can easily transition into like an almost neo-trad type style. And then from there, do the fun stuff. I did a lot of these right hand swirl type roses in my apprenticeship where I would just take a really pretty rose and trace it on Procreate to get myself comfortable with line weight and the way that roses are shaped. And then I would just look at the reference and, do a value study or a color study. This rose is probably like 2 years old by now, but it's one of my favorite pieces to this date of what I've done. And yeah. All right. So that was that. That was our little presentation. So what's going to happen now is you guys can hop on to Zoom, and what we're going to do is we are actually going to do some more. We're going to do another flash sheet. And I think by the end of this month, which is approaching very quickly, we should be comfortable doing a full American traditional flash sheet. That is the goal. So once again, if you're not familiar on how you hop on, you go to reinventingthetattoo.com, go to watch, big calendar will pop up. You go to today's class, which is the Thursday morning fundamentals, and a Zoom link should be right up there for you. You might just need to give Kyle a second, to put it on there and come hang out. I lost my pencil for a second, but it's in my lap, so we're fine. All right. So I'm going to talk about references again, just in case you did not see my reference video. But I like to use reference. I'm one of those artists right now that I like to use reference. I like ideas. I like, jog a memory. But to not get myself attached to a reference, I will look up what I'm looking up, be it faces, elephants, dogs, cats, horses, whatever. And I will screenshot like the whole page of references, as small as you're seeing it. Because if you zoom in here, all I'm seeing is just general shape, I'm just seeing positionings, I'm seeing colors, I'm seeing shapes. That's all. So I'm not attached to a single reference at all. So when I was drawing these, right? When I was drawing these, and you saw in the playback that I even took the reference away at one point, but all I did was literally just go in here and be like, oh, I like these shapes. I like these shapes. Let me start, combine what I see here with what I see here. Let's do this with that. Like, it's all. This is how you can get yourself not attached to a reference. Because, then you're going to start doubting yourself. And then when you start doubting yourself, then the whole thing falls apart. And that's not good. So, while you guys are hopping on here, I'll show you guys. I'll actually leave that reference up because I kind of need it. I'll show you guys the step-by-step process here. And bear with me. I might need to warm up for a second. Okay. Let's see how well I can draw on an incline like this. Okay. Yep. Okay. So I start out always with the circles. And you are noticing that I'm drawing 2 inner circles. And like I said, that is so I know the distance between my inner bud and my outer bud. Or, I'm sorry, inner bud and outer petals. My apology. And these aren't quite organized, but these are just good examples. All right, and then I kind of just jump in here. So let's start with this top one here. And we can start with the very basic cut across petal. And these are just sketches here, so it doesn't matter if it looks weird, if it looks sketchy, if it looks not proper yet. Not like that. Nope. I'm getting too attached with making it perfect right away because you guys are watching me. How dare. All right, for the outer petals, once again, we have 5. So I'd like to make lines here just to have like some sort of, even though that kind of looks huge. Looks like it's going to be a big petal. So maybe we'll have like an indent in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. See how it has like, I have no distinct shape with those outer petals. They're just doing whatever the heck they want to do. That's fine. But what I'm going to do actually is make it just a little bit smaller so I can make some petals. And the petals, I usually just have sticks, and I make 1 stick come out and around. Once again, I make very neo-traditional petals, but for the sake of you guys, why not? But that's weird to mix up neo-traditional and traditional. Maybe some accents. I'll actually do the little swirly durlies. Something like that. All right. Well, that's 1. Check that out, right? 1. And then it's not, I mean, I'm only speaking from my perspective. It's not super difficult to come up with compositions, but definitely, obviously, if you're starting today, don't expect anything. I mean, you should never expect anything out of yourself anyway as an artist, but that's like speaking to a wall if I tell somebody that. Trust me, I was the same way, so I get it. All right, Kira, what are you doing? I'm making a swirl. Okay, so then if you're making a swirl, make a swirl. Jeez. There's that. I'm not a huge fan of that one. I usually always start with this like outer petal like this, just to give it some sort of symmetricalness to it, just like how these two are exactly across from each other. That's a very common way of doing things, even though you can mix it up. Like I can have, like you see how these two are very close together, obviously because it's 5 petals. So you can actually have that happen on the sides here. And then have, you know, another big one that ends up at the same points on each end. Because even though it's simplistic here, you still want good proportions. You still want symmetrical. your brain likes when they see points like this matching up together. They like seeing points like this match up together. They like seeing points like this match up together. It's just all in its own simplistic way. So no matter what, whether you're making simplicity or not, it still needs to have, some
intersecting angles.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. What's up, Ricardo?
How's it going? I'm almost to the shop.
He says, I'm speed racing so I can draw some roses.
Yeah, pretty much. I caught the beginning of your class. That was a great presentation. Very nice.
Thanks, bud. Did you know about Maude Wagner, or was this your first time hearing of her?
I've known about her. It's fucking pretty awesome though that you researched it and like talked about her and her lineage and all the history and stuff like that. That's pretty awesome. That's like a really famous photo too, that's one that's been replicated on a lot of people's banners and stuff like that, and either they do or don't know about it, but it's an iconic image for sure.
I want to get one and hang it up in my booth now.
That's awesome. Maybe you should draw it, paint it.
Oh my God, that would be so cool.
There you go.
Honestly though, like I just kept picturing myself as being in 1901, not tattooed, and walking by someone like Maude Wagner at a circus and being like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because nowadays everything is so accessible, through our phones and stuff like that, and the internet. And at one point in time, it was very closed off as far as the information that we gathered from around the world, or other cultures and stuff like that, or other subcultures within our own American culture. You know what I mean? So it is pretty crazy to think that was very much like what you said, like a sideshow kind of thing. And like the amount of us people nowadays that have tattoos in highly visible areas, it's such a commonplace anymore, but at one point in time that was, yeah. And especially on a woman of that day and age too.
Yeah. Cursed those ladies that put them tattoos on them.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you mean you're not at home?
It's just showing like how much, I don't know, like our society has changed so quickly.
Yes, big time.
Because that was only little over 100 years ago. That's really not anything crazy.
No. There's a lot of people living past that age now,
Exactly. So just, I don't know, just the way that our society has changed so quickly is just so astounding to me.
To speak on that, I heard an interesting statistic not too long ago that, back when Martin Luther King was doing his thing, they had color television and colored pictures then. You just don't ever see them because it makes it look older.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting to think about. My mom when she was alive, she used to tell me the story about when she was a kid. They didn't have TV, and they would like go up to their neighbor's house and kind of like peek in through the window to watch Wizard of Oz. And she talks about that. She says that it was pretty crazy because you get to see the movie in black and white and then how it turns into color. You know what I mean? When she enters Oz, that was pretty awesome to think about that.
And then now it's like to think about.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that is pretty awesome to think about. That must have been like such a almost like an awakening type thing. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just shows with tattooing too how that works. It's like insane.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys saw his kit, right? His tattoo kit that he was using? What?
Yeah, it looks like he had a bunch of straight razors to shave people with and everything, too.
I'm sorry. We're going right back to that. Yo, what is that?
Yeah. I think some people
to make
would
your
use...
stencil.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, they used, what was it? They would carve into the plastic, right? And then use powdered pigment for the stencil, so like an engraving almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's insane. Like, is that the shader?
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, just a bunch of needles kind of banded together. or carved. Pretty wild.
It's just like here's this little needles thing. Sharps 12. That's what he's got. It's like, I don't know. It's just astounding to me. I love old stuff like this.
Yeah, some lineage or some history there. It's good that you're showing people that might not know, or like just showing like a common interest in it. Even, you know what I mean? Hold on, I'm gonna go kind of quiet for a second.
That's fine. I just think it's very interesting how they have like things carved into their quote unquote machines. They must be so sentimental to him that he had these carved. I'm sure he had like somebody super important carve it for him or like something. And I just think that that's absolutely astounding. I think it's so crazy and cool. But don't mind me, I'm just nerding out. It's fine. I just like tattooing. Don't worry about it. But either way, thank you so much, Bud, for joining in. I see Kyle's working on some roses too. You know, it's a rose day. And maybe in the future we'll work on other styles of roses, but I feel like this is the best way to start out. Let's see here. I'm just trying to find my last one.
I also like the way that you showed people that the reference, you don't have to be tied to it. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to stylizing things, you definitely want to pick up on the shapes and stuff like that, and that's it, really.
Yeah, I think when I came to visit you, I discovered that because I was listening to that dude talk about references, and it's so easy to get caught up on a style or get caught up on a reference, and almost like I said with that Norman Rockwell presentation, that we get into the phase of copying mindlessly, and that doesn't really teach us anything. Where this, you know, even zooming in, it's super pixelated, so I can't pick one thing out, but I can see almost the notamizing portions of the image from what is red and what is the white, so I can see the shapes here, and I can pick what shapes I like and put them together. Like especially like this here. I can still see exactly what those inner buds are looking like, but I'm not copying exactly. I just am picking and choosing. So it's very important. It helps build your confidence too, because a lot of new artists, especially the youngins like myself.
Back to that man's toolkit. Atomic Injections was saying that that's how they cut the holes in the stencil.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Perforating it or like engraving it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is why I'm glad that I'm not like super master on this discussion, because I'm hoping that you guys tell me some information too on how they used that stuff. Because this was a little difficult to research, because I had to listen to a bunch of podcasts and stuff like that about them too, since the information is old, but it's old in the sense that, you know, like records weren't really kept on this type of stuff. So the information is definitely hard to find.
And passed down through storytelling.
Yeah. Yep. Like even a lot of the places I was researching, and they were like museum type websites, even stated at the top that this information is archived, which means that some of it may not be 100% accurate, because, you know, they're just guessing what happened. You know, but Gus or Maude didn't have like a journal or anything like that, and the only thing they knew was from Lavetta, which I think is so crazy that she was tattooing at 9 years old. Like, what?
9 years old, yeah. This, you know, it's like a different time and place, you know what I mean? And that's America. Like, there's a lot of other countries that are like that too. You know, Philippe Lou is another one of those people. He's definitely not a traditional Americana tattoo artist by any means, but a generational kind of familial unit, you know, where you're learning how to tattoo at such an early age, dude, and having tattoos at like 12 years old, 11 years old. And it's like, yeah, what's the big deal? Who cares? You know what I mean? He's a tattoo artist.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Once again, I'm thinking in the perspective of somebody walking down the street at 1910, 1920. and there's, you know, a 10-year-old just tattooing away. Of course, I'm going to get a tattoo by them. What are you, crazy? And the cool thing that I actually didn't mention about Lavetta was that she, up until she retired from tattooing, continued with the hokey pokey style tattooing. So she never picked up a machine.
Awesome.
Which I think is wild.
Very cool.
All right, so I got my 5 here. They're all sketched out. So now I can take my reference away. Take it away. It's gone. Oh, whoops, I didn't put leaves on that one. But you know what? I'm going to rearrange this just to make it a little bit more organized because it's kind of messing with me. But what do you guys think of continuing with the styled lessons like this, like doing traditional months and Japanese style tattooing months and Polynesian tattooing style months and all that fun stuff?
I think it's awesome. I liked it. Whenever you said that, I was like, oh, what a great idea. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to kind of in a day and age where things are so accessible and people are starting to replicate each other's style faster and faster. You know what I mean? I think it's important to remember where, you know, this came from in the first place. And I think that it's awesome that you're, you know, delving into it and showing people, kind of giving them a glimpse into it if they haven't even thought of it, you know? I think it's great.
All right, cool. Because I think this is the route we're going to go with it. Because I you know, through this past, and I counted it through, I've done, you know, this is the 27th week. We've covered pretty much all of the basic fundamentals, and I can only repeat the fundamentals so many times before somebody's like, yeah, you know, I get it. You know, what's that? What else you got? So
You get it, but show it to me. Show it to me now. Show me wax on, wax off, Danielson.
So I was kind of thinking, what else would I show? And I'm just thinking of myself as, you know, an apprentice, what I wanted to learn. And I think tattoo history is definitely up there for what you should learn. And I'm absolutely lacking in it. I don't know as much as I should. So this gives me the opportunity to learn too.
Great ideas, Kira. Great ideas.
Thanks, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I'm doing too many. This one. This one. All right, so now they're all sketched out and stuff. So now I'm going to move them around one last time. Because I do think that a lot of flash sheets need to have some sort of organization to it. So might as well do it in the proper way. And if anybody's listening on the outskirts and wants to look it up for me or know off the top of their head what museum it is, there's like a tattooing museum in like I think Baltimore or somewhere out there where you can go to that has that kit in it. And I apologize deeply for not writing it down. But if anybody knows out there, please let us know and I will say it. You know who would know? Jason.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, ding.
Yeah, no, I was just... that's exactly what I was
actually, Kire, it's not in Baltimore. This actually was obtained by Baltimore after being in Philadelphia.
It's actually in Philadelphia because we rule. Like,
yeah. It's actually in Philadelphia because there's no other city in the world besides Philly.
I was telling Kyle, like literally right before he hit the live button, that I was talking to my landlord yesterday, like about like paranormal stuff because I'm crazy, and I'd asked her, I was like, had anybody like passed in the house here, because houses around here are very, 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 very old, and I was just curious, and she was like, no, I asked the realtor that when I bought this house because I had seen too many stories, and I was like, yeah, I mean, isn't there? I made a joke. And I said, isn't there always like a ghost in the basement? And she goes, well, we're in New England, and there's more graves than people. So, and I was like, oh.
Well, now, okay.
And
You
I was
don't
like,
say.
oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Well, on that note, have a nice rest of your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was like, okay, thanks. Thanks for that information there.
Have you ever messed up on a tattoo? No, but let me show you these human skulls that I have.
Literally. Wow, good morning coffee always gets you through the day. All right. So now we're at the stage where I can go onto a new layer and outline these bad boys. Okay. Fun fact about traditional that I didn't know, that I'm sure all of you know, was that I watched this documentary, and the dude said that he outlined a lot of his traditional. I don't know who the dude was, so don't ask. He outlined all traditional with threes, and that blew my mind. I was like, what? But because of the aging, they just aged super bold like that, or he just blew out the whole time. I don't know, but I just thought that was super interesting.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like a lot of people don't realize that the ink migrates, like your body's trying to get rid of it all the time. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like a 3, that looks like a 12 liner, 14 liner even.
Yeah.
It looks like an 88 liner.
I wonder what the biggest liner is.
I don't know.
Also, a Jason question.
Yeah, there you go. That is a question for the scabulations.
Let's see here. And as soon as I'm done outlining these, before I color them quickly, I'm going to check out what you guys are doing. Oh, that looks horrible. Honestly, I would I kind of want to tattoo myself now with one of these.
That's awesome. You should do it.
Well, that's a good question to ask. Carter, when's the last time you tattooed yourself?
Oh, man, when was it? Trying to remember. It's been probably 12 years, maybe. Probably about 12 years, yeah.
What'd you tattoo on yourself?
I think I redid one of these guys on my forearm. Just added some more color to it and stuff. Just for the heck of it.
Your forearm?
Yeah, well, it was a tattoo that was there already, and I just kind of like added some color to it. It was like real light. Like this. Just pulled down with my other forearm and just kind of.
Oh, so like a badass. Okay.
Yeah, what's that?
I said like a badass, so I get it.
Sure. We'll go with that one.
I've
It's
seen
more like
some people, they would put their forearm in their lap and just use their legs to like stretch their whole like back of their arm.
That's awesome. It's really awesome.
Which I think, from when I tattooed myself last, that it actually hurts less for me when I tattoo myself.
Oh yeah, big time. Big time. Isn't that weird?
That is super weird.
I think it's because, like, I always use the analogy of, whenever something hurts and you keep doing it over and over again, it's pretty much like you looking at a flame and going, I'm going to put my hand back in there. And this time it's not going to hurt. And you do it again. You're like, yeah, why did it hurt again? You know what I mean? I guess it's because, like, I can compare it to that in a sense where it's like, you can, it's coming, you're going to do it. So it's not as bad right away. It's not like, oh my God. Like, you kind of knew it was happening. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Then
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and then I go, why am I doing this again? What the heck?
Hi, I wanted this.
Exactly.
Like me tattooing that Darth Maul skull on you.
No, you'll finish that this time. You're gonna finish it, and it's gonna be like so quick. You're gonna do it so quick. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Then we gotta get Kyle to get tattooed by one of us. Yeah, Kyle?
Yeah, I'd be down.
Yeah, man, let's do it. We're gonna have to make a trip. We'll have to make a trip out of something.
Well, I plan to be out in your guys' area by the end of the year.
Nice.
Because
Go ahead.
Just because I'm tired of living in California.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, so like moving?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
where are you planning on moving to?
I figured Ohio might be a good baseline to start because it's kind of like an equal distance from everywhere if I want to change my mind after that.
Yeah. Nice, dude.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Congrats, Kyle.
Yeah. How adventurous, man. Good for you.
So the money is just a big issue now.
Yeah.
It's always the issue.
Yeah.
That dang money. That dang money, man.
Can't afford to stay here. Can't afford to leave.
That's where they get you, right?
Yep.
Well, if we get you here, then you can't leave.
Exactly. You're stuck in the cycle. But at least you can work for Amazon.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Do you know apparently they've hired the most people since like the wartime efforts for America? Like that's the last time that they've like the numbers that they're hiring during the pandemic are equally as high as when they were drafting people to, build ships and stuff during the war.
Wow. I didn't. That's crazy.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Yeah, I mean exactly. And everybody orders things now, like I've been over at people's houses and they're like, I need toilet paper. Like, let's go to the store. Like, nope, I just ordered it on Amazon. Like,
see, that's crazy that because I don't know why you would want to order that when you can just go to the store and grab it and not have to wait for it.
Exactly, dude. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I like just going out and doing the thing and buying things and being like, hi, how are you?
Yeah. And in bigger cities too, you can go to other areas where there's like, smaller grocery stores. You know what I mean? Like in Chicago, there's like little corner grocery stores everywhere, or New York City kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's like you can support somebody that's local too. And like that helps out a lot. So
yeah, I've been trying to do that more whenever I buy pet supplies for my lizard.
Nice.
That just means going like 2 cities over, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, you get to drive and stuff. You get to hang out.
Yeah.
You get to meet some peoples.
See the sights.
Say hello. Open the door for somebody. It's pretty crazy. It's like, what is this human thing that I'm doing?
Somebody?
Yeah. What is this human thing that I'm doing right now? I don't get it.
That's so funny.
It's crazy we say this about going to the store, but I went to the store yesterday to get like some sandwich buns, and this lady who parked next to me, she's like, that's all you went to the store for was some sandwich buns? It's like, yeah, that is what a store is for, lady.
Yeah. I think so. Plus, how do you know exactly what it is that I have? Are you gonna follow me?
Oh, no, it was just the one item, so I was holding it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, well, I have this gun too. See?
Oh my god!
Well, hold on. It wasn't a Walmart, Ricardo.
Yeah, exactly right. Lay Walmart, please. Thank you very much.
Ricardo just went full Midwest.
Yeah, I was like totally talking about being human and opening the door up for people, and I'm like, but I have this gun.
You can have one without the other.
I know, right? It's just the way it goes. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Jesus Christ. It's been an absolute ghost town near my shop because the kids are away for winter break.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you can hear the howling of the wind sometimes. And I'm like, whoa.
Wah, 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 wah.
Literally.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start singing. Oh, we get a
That's what I get for working in a college town.
I mean, it can get like that here sometimes too. You know what I mean? Like it dies down for sure. But with as busy as they can keep you, it's kind of a good break sometimes, don't you think?
Oh yeah. You can actually like take a walk and see the sights and get a minute to breathe and paint. And oh yeah, the summertime definitely gets super hectic. And my boss told me yesterday, he's like, just want to let you know, just remember, tax season is like 15 minutes away.
Mm-hmm. Tax season. I got to get tattooed right now. It's an emergency.
Oh my God, I've had that happen before. It's like,
Hello, you guys close at 9:30. I know it's 8:45, but I need the sleeve started, please.
My favorite one lately has been when I'd answer the phone. I'm like, okay, like, what are you looking to get? And they're like, a tattoo. It's like, no shit, that's what you're calling me. I know that's what you're calling me.
God, dude. Oh,
and then I'll be
man.
like, okay. And then I'll, stay calm. And I'm like, okay, like what kind of tattoo? They're like, I don't know, something small. I'm like, yo.
How much are those? How much are they?
It just makes me want to make a flash sheet for those people and be like, okay, cool. I got exactly what you're looking for. Come on in. And they come in and it's just like super raunchy flash sheet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, but you said you wanted something small.
I think you should do it, Kire.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be definitely very funny. It would definitely make my day for sure. Teach them like, hey, sometimes when you're putting something permanent on your body, you kind of need to be a little bit more specific. But then obviously you get the cool clients. Like yesterday I booked a Spider-Man tattoo. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
That's fun.
All right, one more. Doing these flash sheets are so fun because they go by so quickly.
It's crazy, on the iPad for sure, but like if you're sitting down with the light board and stuff like that and some watercolor and spit shading that thing, you're like very, very deliberate.
Oh yeah. That's permanence. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's permanence
exactly.
for you.
Yeah, which is cool because that's part of the reason that people used to have you learn some of the tattoo ethic like that, or some of the tattoo fundamentals that way.
Yeah, exactly. Carter, are you working on some flowers too, or are you working on your own thing?
No, I'm doing a flower. I'll show it to you here in a second.
Okay, after I'm done outlining this one, we'll go around the room.
Sounds good, homie.
Go around the round table.
Also, shout out, if you haven't seen that the movie King on Netflix, you need to see it. It's amazing.
Who's in that?
Timothy, the kid that played in Dune, the main character in Dune.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Mr. Robert Pattinson. But it's about King Henry. It's a very good movie. The soundtrack is like up there with Interstellar. Just throwing that out there.
What? No way. It's funny because I was going to
very-
talk about soundtracks and go ahead. It's a very what?
It's a very I was gonna say it's a very serious movie. So definitely if you like medieval serious movies, like that's right up your alley. But yeah, like greatest. I've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop at work. It's so good.
Nice. You guys share speaker time?
At the shop?
Yeah. Or do you
Yeah.
talking about your headphones?
Well, I definitely don't play soundtrack stuff at the shop unless I'm by myself.
Mhm.
But we definitely do share speaker time. We have an Alexa there, so it's a lot easier, so we don't have to take off our gloves. Which is super fun sometimes because, like, when you play with the Alexa, sometimes when there's a full shop and there's everybody's tattooing, we'll play trivia games with Alexa. It's kind of funny.
Nice. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Play the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack. Not the new one, but the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. It's fantastic. I love it.
I didn't know there was a new one.
Yeah, there's a newer one. It's got Jason Momoa in it from a little while back.
Oh, that makes sense. He would play a good Conan. And Aquaman.
Oh God, that movie's a turd fest.
All right. There's our little outlines. That top left rows I hate, but that's okay. The bottom right rows I like a lot. So let's see here. Let's go around the room. Jesus Christ, Ricardo, I can see yours just from here. I don't. Great.
It's fun. It's okay. It's okay. Here you go.
Yeah, we'll start strong. Go ahead.
Aw,
Lovely.
that's so traditional. It's so cute.
It's so cute. Yeah. I think it's fun to do the roses like a Sailor Jerry or an Ed Hardy kind of style. You know what I mean? I love them. This isn't exactly as is, but I mean, it's closer to that. That's kind of where I pull the reference, like the stylized idea from is their stuff.
This is amazing. I love it.
Nice.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question here because I saw your little process that you're doing. You just scumbled a whole bunch of red on there, and then you built it from just the scumbling, correct?
Yeah. Here, I'll show you the playback real quick. Let me see. Where's the playback at? There it is. Video. Time lapse replay. Hopefully it's long enough, but here you go. Let me rewind that a little bit. All right, ready, Kire?
Yeah.
Here you go. So yes, I scumbled a bunch of red, did the shapes. So I made all the shapes that you talked about, the circular shapes and everything like that, but I just kind of like definitely scumbled it all in. Playing with the colors, with the shading. It's very opposite of what you would do with tattooing.
This is very graffiti process right now.
Right, exactly. There you go. There you go.
I'm so proud of you with your color theory.
Yeah, there you go.
That's so awesome. Okay,
Thanks,
Kyle,
man.
your turn. You gotta
Okay, yeah.
spotlight yourself, buddy.
Traditional is not really my strong suit, but I got a few.
Okay, so that left one there, I love your use of thirds. That's great. That is pretty down pat third right there. I like that.
Mhm.
I like your leaves a lot. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. Good job. I think for sure, if I were to give you some sort of critique or something, I would say for sure start off not with the shape of the flower, but with those 2 circles. I'm
Okay.
telling you, like, greatest thing ever. Because that's going to tell you exactly where your bud stops and where your petals start. And it's going to separate it, and it's going to make filling them in way faster for you. Even though you're doing a fantastic job. You're doing way better than me on that part.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll try that out then.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's good to think about it like a face of a clock. You know what I mean? Like you have 12 up at the top, you know. You have 12 up at the top. Let's see here if I can get the. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
All right, so I'll turn it around. So 12 at the top, 6 at the bottom, 9 and 3. And you got to think about these triangular kind of shapes that are in here. There you go.
Okay.
You have almost like a star. It's kind of like the similar setup to like a cherry blossom, and then the angles of the clock come into play whenever you start thinking about, let's see, like 7 and 2. And what is it? 9, or I'm sorry, 10 and 4. Like I always try to
it upside down.
and I always try to make it. It's actually easier to draw upside down, right? It's weird, but like you always try to do the center more like the egg kind of shape too. Like you don't want it to be a perfect circle. You want it to have like an elongated and a tapered kind of effect to it too, like a bulb, like almost like a teardrop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one way to do it for sure.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks so much for that demonstration, Ricardo. That was very awesome of you.
Thanks, dude.
So I'm going to screen share just for a couple more minutes here, just to get this, because now we've got it outlined. So the rest of this is going to take like no time at all. And since you guys have seen this happen already like 14 times. So then we go in here, create a layer underneath, pick a nice traditional red. And we go into our little squiggle and go to automatic. Make sure we're on the right layer. Oops. And go to town.
Did you color select those, or did you select those shapes already?
Yeah. No. You can. So if you go to your little S thing and you go to automatic, you can just hit the square, like
With
the closed
color
space, and it fills it in automatically.
What? My goodness. What do you know? So you got to make sure all the little edges are like cinched or tightened up, right? Like
absolutely.
All the lines are connected. Yeah. Okay.
That's the tricky part.
No, tell me about it. Gosh. Uh-oh. There you go.
Yeah, it gets tricky when you go like in between things like this, because I'm on my iPad, so my aim isn't the best. And you just fill all these bad boys in. And then you grab some yellow. Whoops. to grab some black. Ah!
Uh-oh.
And just get rid of it all.
Ah!
Yeah. And there's my rose at midnight.
I would get that tattooed.
Yes, for sure.
Honestly, Kyle, I could see you getting that tattooed.
Maybe once I exhaust it with some stuff I'm not a fan of.
There you go.
And then come in here with some white. Do the same thing again. Ah! And this is a super quick way of how you can make a whole ass flash sheet.
There you go.
Carter's like, I'm ready for bed.
I'm
Nap
so
number
sorry.
1.
I know. I've already had 3 breakfasts, so look, we're good. 3rd breakfasts.
3rd breakfast, 2nd lunch.
2nd breakfast, 3rd breakfast. Snack, lunch, snack, dinner, supper.
Dessert 1 and 2.
There you go. You know what I have been looking for are honey buns, like just regular size honey buns, but everywhere you go now, they only have the jumbo size honey buns anymore. I don't get it.
That is weird that you wouldn't be able to find the regular one anywhere.
Nowhere.
If anybody's
looks-
listening, help Ricardo find some honey buns.
Just the regular size ones. I mean, everything says jumbo on it now. It's like, I don't want the jumbo one. I want the regular size one now.
Well, Ricardo, you live in the Midwest, so.
Yeah.
Don't you have like those big gulp cups?
No, that's Texas, dude. Come on now.
Oh.
Well, no, I think they do have the big gulps here. I think you might be right.
I think that's
You
just a
don't have-
7-Eleven thing, though.
I think you. I think
We
you're
don't have
onto
that out
something.
here.
Ah,
We don't have that. Not in the East Coast.
7-Elevens.
No, big gulps.
Oh yeah, but you get the dunks, so it's okay.
Shut up.
you got the dunks. We
though.
have like the double super gulp.
There you go.
My first time going to North Carolina, I had saw the big gulps for the first time, and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
All right, these
What
are
do you want?
getting done super quickly, just to display some sort of finished product on here. But I hope everybody's getting the gist of what's supposed to be happening.
Very helpful and resourceful.
Thanks, man. I'm really trying, I'm having some sort of products for everybody to display. This is for you, Maude. Even though I think that's such a cool name, Maude.
Yeah.
The Mod Pod.
There's a movie,
Yeah.
Harold and Maude, right? You seen that? It's I think it's from the 60s or the 70s. It's pretty cool. This young guy falls in love with this older woman. Her name is Maude.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Pretty fun movie.
I just watched Pulp Fiction the other day. I love that.
Was that the first time you've seen that?
No.
Okay,
I love
good.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Even though I don't think they'd be able to make that movie today.
Absolutely not.
No.
That movie throws the R word and the hard R around like it's,
Yeah.
breakfast. With no remorse. But I haven't seen, I have, but I haven't seen the Kill Bills in a long time.
Oh man, that's a good one too.
I've seen them in like bits and pieces throughout the years, but I haven't seen it as a whole. But I love the soundtracks for his movies for sure.
Have you guys seen True Romance?
I've not seen that one, no.
Okay, so True Romance was written by Quentin Tarantino, but he sold it in order to make Reservoir Dogs, right? And when you watch True Romance, you can totally tell that it's a Quentin Tarantino movie, but it was just directed by somebody else. Christian Slater's in it, Patricia Arquette's in it, Gary Oldman's in it. I dare you to guess who Gary Oldman is when you first watch the movie, too. It's like, whoa, what the hell? That's Gary Oldman? No way. Seriously. Dustin Hoffman's in it. It's a good movie. If you get a chance, it's a classic. Val Kilmer's
You
in
heard
it
it here,
too.
folks.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Certified Ricardo classic.
It's a classic, man. I'm telling you. The soundtrack to that one is pretty good too. And Hans Zimmer did a lot of the music for it. He does this like little melody in it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Love me some Hans Zimmer.
Oh yeah, dude. You're so cool. Check it out though. You guys won't be disappointed, I promise you.
I've been falling in love with Max Richter. You've heard of him?
Yeah.
He hasn't done any of like any major movies I can think of off the top of my head. But I don't know, his compositions are just very soft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, they're like compositions you can almost fall asleep to.
Right.
But he has almost a very like psychedelic frequency type style. It's very interesting. Let's see here. Almost done with these, with the black at least. Oh my god, am I on a different layer? Oh, thank god. I was just like, I got scared that I forgot to put a different layer on.
I do that all the time.
That happened for the entire first one I did, and I just ended up covering up all my lines.
It's like, oh, geez.
I always have those moments when I do it. I look at it and I go, can I fix it? Can I fix it? Nope.
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 You always have to take a good deep breath every time you do it.
Mm-hmm. My fist usually hits the couch. Damn it.
Then you spend 20 minutes trying to back it up because you can't just hold the undo button.
Right, exactly.
Oh, Procreate.
As a matter of fact, I've been drawing this skull for the past couple of days for the Monday night homework, and like last night I was messing around with it and I double tapped it and it's like, oh my god, I gotta stop doing that. I was drawing it manually or analog anyway on charcoal and tone paper. Pretty hilarious. You serious,
Yeah,
Ricardo?
That skull's coming out like top notch amazing.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Is it that reflective one?
Yeah. I think I got a picture of it. Let me see. It's a fun one.
Yeah, I've been working on mine as well. I just get there and getting all those little shapes piled in.
Yeah. I think I might leave it alone as it is. Sure, that's looking great.
Thanks. We're nearing the end of it. Oh, come on. Establishing our edges here. I did do a Gaussian blur to my black just to kind of soften it up a little bit. Make it look a little more watercolory. And we're going to go in after and apply some more red. Fuck, that was horrible. Come on, Kire. Get your shit together.
Come on.
What is this, amateur hour?
Come on, kid. What are you doing? What are you doing? But by the end of it, I should have. It's because I'm drawing on an incline with my iPad, so I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
Carter's like, keep telling us what your excuses are here. Come on. Is it the iPad or is it you?
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. What are you tattooing today, Cardo?
I'm finishing up the do you remember the dragon with the little peonies flowers that I did on that girl's hip? I sent it to you guys a while back. Yeah, I'm gonna be finishing that up today. Hopefully she can sit through it. I'm gonna definitely life coach her if today's not the day for her, that's for sure.
Life coacher?
Yeah, life coach her. You know, like sometimes people just need to hear that they can get through it. They might think that it's like the most painful thing in the world, but if you just sit down and talk to them, like, look, you're here, you're already dressed, you're ready to go, we're already started. We can do this. We're gonna get through it together. You know, once they hear that, it usually changes up the tempo quite a bit. They're usually ready to get it done. Have you ever had that happen before?
I've had to coach others for sure. Pretty positive. You've coached me a couple times.
You got this. You got this. Just breathe. Just breathe.
Here, just chill.
It's just a reminder.
Yeah, I tense up like a motherfucker sometimes. And the crappy part is that you never know that you're actually doing it until somebody mentions, like, hey, man.
Yep.
You're freaking out a little bit here.
Got it.
And you're right. As soon as you just relax, you feel so much better.
Yep.
It's not
just
as
breathe.
bad.
Yep. So we're going to get through it today. I'm going to try to finish that up and be ready for the rest of the day after that. Got some drawing I'm going to do. This year I'm going to try to start finishing up more and more images, like drawings, so I can try to, show people and like tell them this is what I'd like to tattoo this year. Like, well, how do you feel about it? Let's get it done. Let's start it. Let's do it.
Do a lot more original pieces?
Yeah, do a lot more original pieces and try to start exploring that area of my career where I can kind of get away with just doing what I want to do. Hopefully people saying, I saw this piece that you did. I like it. Yeah, I totally drew it. They wanted it exactly as is. Let's do that for you too.
Heck yeah, man. That's the way to do it.
That's the goal, right? I mean, I'm blessed enough as it is, like, to be able to do what I do. So that's always awesome just on its own. So, but to be able to like push myself artistically and then be able to give a client something that's a little more unique, it's awesome.
Yeah, isn't it always a blessing that you're able to, make your art and actually make a living off of it and survive?
Yeah. I live a comfortable life because of it, and it's incredible to me. And people come back and they send their friends and stuff, and it's awesome. Don't take it for granted.
Granite or granted?
Well, granite.
Both.
Yes.
Both.
Don't take it for granted. Don't let it turn into stone, man. Oh yeah, granted. That's that Midwest kicking in. Granted.
You guys seen granite?
You mean on the countertop? No, man. No, man, that's not what I'm talking about. It is pretty funny though. In Illinois, you can drive 15 minutes south of the town you live in, which is not a huge city, but it's urban. And you drive 15 minutes south, and it sounds like they're from 5 hours south of you. It's incredible. It's incredible. Tell you what.
Do you tattoo a lot of people with heavy accents?
Yes and no. I mean, I tattooed a kid from Boston a few months ago. He had a thick accent. So there you go. He flew down the day. It's pretty funny because this area, the street that I'm on, it's the power in the summer, like spring and summer, it'll like just the whole block will go out every once in a while. I don't know if it's just the way that the system's set up and it just can't handle the power or something like that or something. But this kid had flown in from Boston to get a tattoo and the power goes out and I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry, dude. I mean, I had, the cordless power or tattoo machine and stuff like that. So we just kind of like turned on our phones and put them up and propped them up so we could see.
And you tattooed him with no power? Yeah, that's some gangster
it was fun.
shit.
It was funny.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Quite
Yeah,
the
honestly,
story.
the New England accent is my favorite accent. Every time I hear it interpreted and stuff like that, it's always just, it makes me laugh so hard. All right, and then all I gotta do really is just apply my fashion good old teal. Then we'll see where everybody's at and go from there. That. Whoops. Wrong layer. All right, so this is kind of it. It's kind of what we have here. Some traditional rose flash sheet.
There you go.
Woo! There it is. Woo, woo, woo.
Killer, man.
So, definitely the bottom right rose is my favorite out of all of them. That one to me has, as messy as it is right now, that one to me has the best display of thirds, best display of simplicity, symmetricalness, all that fun stuff. So to me, this one is the best example as far as that sort of stuff goes, even though I'm cleaning it up right now. This one up here, I'm not a huge fan, but they're all pretty straightforward, as messy as they are. They do need some cleanup, but that's okay. This is a fast example, but it's ready to go. What, this took like an hour, not even, and we got 4 tattooable designs that are ready to go and be placed on people. So as a young tattooer starting out, this is the best way to get, customers in the door, best way to get your work out there, best way to tattoo what you want to tattoo. Like, I'm a big fan of color, everybody knows. So I post these up and I can do the minimal sizing. This is great practice for me to apply my color theory. So with that said, let's check out what everybody's got going on. Cardo.
Okay.
Let me stop screen sharing.
Playing with another one. This one is not traditional at all.
No, that's your neo-traditional awesome rose that you do. I always like your geometric roses that you do. Very triangular. I love it.
Thanks. Thank you.
Awesome. Heck yeah. Good practice for your wake up, huh?
You got it.
You got it.
You got it.
Even though Carter's been awake for like 6 hours already.
It's true. It's true. How did you know?
Because you've already had 3 breakfasts.
It's true.
All right, Kyle, show us what you got, bud.
All right.
Heck yeah, man. You got 3
Yeah, there you
going
go.
for you.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, you're definitely working on your elements and stuff. I like the little leaves that you got going on the top right one. Definitely doing the inner circle, outer circle thing helps you out a lot. So continue to do that. And that way you just have to, you think less on proportions because they're already there for you.
I think I'd try to make the center of the rose a little bit bigger, I think, here.
Yeah, that was going to be my next thing, was to just make the center just a little bit bigger. You don't want the, I guess I should have mentioned that, of the sizing of that inner circle to outer circle. Like, you don't want it to be half of that because that's too tiny. Maybe like a third. You know, like just a little bit bigger. You definitely want some outreach for the petals, but definitely that bottom left one is as close as possible to traditional. And when you're sketching, try and sketch with a smaller, whatchamacallit? What am I looking for? Smaller round as far as
smaller liner
the size. Yeah, smaller liner. Thank you.
Right.
Like a smaller sizing. Because that way, and then you can just go bolder from there. Because I think, I'm going to screen share here. Oh god, my iPad's going to die. Holy shit.
Mine too.
I think what I have here, I think let's get rid of all this mess. Where are my sketches? Yeah. So see how like light those sketches are?
Right.
So it gives you room and opportunity to go bolder. But if you start off bold, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult to see the actual silhouette or shape that you're looking for. And cool Peter Hahn teaching, right? If you don't know Peter Hahn, please look him up, everybody. I always mention him 24/7. Of course, I'm not on the right layer. So I've started doing this with sketching, where let's just say, once again, we're going to go attack these flowers, right? And I have my circle. Oh, geez, I need 2 hands. Circle. This is just for representation. So I'm sketching, right? I'm not going like straight across and like going like this and creating whatever with straight lines. What I'm doing is I'm actually like just going from one end to another and having incomplete lines. And the reason why Peter Hahn teaches these incomplete lines is so your brain will connect those lines for you, but it doesn't, because one line straight across means finished. That's finish line. That is a start and a stop from one end to another. But when you have like dashes like this, yeah, you can make a line yourself, but that's still in a mental process. It's not a complete image when you come down to it. So if I wanted to like make a new layer, if I wanted to come in here after with a liner, I could change the shape of the line, but still have that pre-existing dashes there for myself. It's kind of like connect the dots, but you're just making compositions as I'm dropping my pen. So like when I make leaves and stuff, like I'm just gonna do dashes, which will in turn create whatever composition I decide to make. But I always have some sort of spacing in it to keep my brain guessing. That way I don't have to commit, because when they're not finished lines, it's not a commitment, it's a guess. And that's what the beginning stages of all your artwork is. They're guesses. This is what I think is going to happen. This is what I think I want. Does that kind of make sense? Am I making some sort of sense here?
Yeah.
I will send you a video afterwards of Peter Hahn explaining it just a little bit better. And because he pretty much what he'll do is he'll take his own paper and he'll go in right with like a micron brush pen. He'll start making a composition. And he'll come in here and he'll just do those dashes and guesses, and he'll explain to you that later on in the composition, I could change that whole area of dashes into something completely different, and I still have that opportunity to do so because they're not finished lines. So they can be turned into whatever. So then that return, it makes you do less, what's the word? Do less mistakes as far as creating your final composition. So I hope that was a little bit helpful to you, Kyle.
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
All right, cool. So my iPad's dying as all heck. So we're going to do our sign off here. This was super fun. We did this for almost 2 hours. This is one of the longest ones we've done so far. So I think we did good. I think this is all right. So, Cardo, you are first. I like that American traditional poster you have behind you.
Thank you. No doubt, right? Yeah, okay. So my name is Ricardo Sertivant. I'm in Normal, Illinois. I host the Tuesday mornings classes at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on through Reinventing the Tattoo. You can get a hold of me at Candor Tattoo, CANDORTATTOO on Instagram. Message me there. I'm going to be having some information on my page there about how to get a hold of me and stuff like that here pretty soon. So keep an eye out, and I look forward to talking to you guys. Thank you, Kyle, for all your help. I know it's super early where you're at, so thank you for waking up. Kire, I appreciate you. Today was a great class. Keep them up. Keep them coming. It's fun.
Thanks, pal. We like that you come on regularly. You're a good one to have on. You're a great hang. Thank you so much. So I guess, okay, so Kyle, you can spotlight me. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello. This was a super fun class. I always get nervous wreck every time I do these classes, but at this point, I always feel very, very good about them. So thank you, everybody, for joining in to the Thursday morning fundamental classes. I am your host, Kire Franklin. You can follow me on Instagram at Frankie Says Things for any likes, comments, questions, and concerns, or you can tell me how terrible of a job I'm doing. That's cool, too. Thank you so much, Kyle. Every single week you've been consistent, and you're a true champ for waking up early and helping us out. We can't wait for you to make your big move. So excited for you. Thank you to Reinventing the Tattoo. Once again, this is where we are beaming out. We're beaming out to reinventingthetattoo.com. Join the community, hang out, say hello to everybody joining on, and share your artwork. Get yourself out there. It's time. New year, new me, right? And once again, thank you so much to the Horseman crew, Bruno, Ricardo, Jason. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for being as awesome as you are. And I will see you guys next week, okay? This is the